beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I am Megs.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this week we watched 2013's The Croods. It's an hour and 38 minutes long. It's got 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. And if you're not familiar, it's an animated film by DreamWorks, and it stars everybody. So it's about a family. They're called the Croods. Father is Grug, played by Nicolas Cage. The wife, the mother, is Ugga. She's played by Catherine Keener. The daughter is Eep, played by, oh my God, what is her name?
Emma
Stone. They also have a son named Thunk, who's played by Clark Duke. And they have a grandmother who is Ugga's mother, just affectionately known as Gran, played by Cloris Leachman. There's also a baby named Sandy, who just really kind of makes some grunting noises. She's not played by anybody special. And then Ryan Reynolds is also in this movie. He plays a guy named Guy. We open on an illustrated story. It's told by Eep, the teenage daughter. She's explaining to us that her and her family spend most of their days in a cave, avoiding the dangers of life, including anything fun. But this story is about how that all changed. And then we see Grug, we're with the family, and he's obsessed with keeping his family safe. His motto is never don't be afraid. Everyone in the family hunts and stays all together all of the time, but Eve is a typical teenager, and she hates being cramped in their cave most of the time. One night, she sees light coming through the door of their cave. It's a giant rock. That's what the door is. And she sneaks out to follow it. It's a young man about her age, named Guy, who has a torch that's burning. He tells her it's fire, and he makes it. He also tells her that the world is ending, and he needs to get to high ground and wants her to go with him, but she says she can't. Guy gives her a seashell and tells her that if she survives it, to call him with that, and he leaves. As she's heading back to the cave, Grug finds her and takes her home. She shares that she found something new, but her family thinks that new is dangerous. And then the ground starts to shake, and as they try to make it back to their cave to avoid all of the falling rocks, a giant boulder falls on their cave and destroys it. Right behind their cave, though, beyond, is this lush, wild landscape. It's full of colorful plants and dangerous animals, and they all fall off a cliff into a jungle. Grug says that they need a cave, so they set off in search of one. They encounter several different kinds of animals, including flying turtle birds and prehistoric baboons that beat the crap out of Grug before they are chased away by a giant cat creature. The Croods make it out of the jungle, and as night falls, there's a piranha-type bird that swarms and devours living things. While Grug tries to figure out how to keep them safe from them, Eve finds an animal tusk and uses it as a horn to call Guy. Her seashell ended up getting destroyed by her father earlier. He happens to be nearby in the jungle, and he comes to their rescue with fire. They're a bit much for Guy, and he tries to leave, but Eep sees and grabs him. He's trying to go to the mountain because the end is still coming. What they experienced so far was just the beginning. Grug tells Eep to leave him be, but she convinces her dad to keep Guy until they find a cave. So Guy spends much of the next few scenes as a prisoner, sort of the Croods, and he's stuffed inside of a hollow log as they make their way toward Guy's mountain. They stop to hunt, but it doesn't go very great. The Croods are not very able hunters. They mainly steal large eggs from bird-like creatures, but this time it doesn't work. So they end up catching a giant scorpion. That's what they choose to eat. Guy convinces Eep to let him out of the log. He'll help her hunt. She agrees, and they build a large trap to catch the bird whose egg they tried to steal. Grug almost fucks it up because he's jealous and overprotective, but in the end, they catch the bird and roast it over Guy's fire. Now it's story time. Grug tells nighttime stories, usually having to do with what happened that day. This day, he tells the story of Eep getting them into the situation, as if their cave hadn't been demolished by a falling boulder. Then Guy tells a story about a tiger that flew to the sun. Eep is enthralled. Grug is every father of a teenage girl ever. The next day, as they continue their journey, they come across an area covered in sharp rocks, and they can't cross because they're barefoot, except for Guy. He made himself shoes, so he tries to run away, but he feels bad. He ends up coming back and tells them that he can help them, but no more log. Grug isn't happy, but he gets rid of the log, and Guy makes everyone's shoes. They make their way past more monkeys, but Guy gives them bananas so that they don't fight. He builds everyone stilts to avoid the big cat creature. He makes them boogie boards so that they can slide down a mountain, and umbrellas to keep the rain off of them. Grug tries to sabotage each and every one of these things because Eep and Guy totally like each other. The group reaches an area before the mountain that's mostly large tunnel-like structures, and they have to split up. Everyone gets a seashell, and they're told to, call out if they get into trouble, and then they split up and go through the tunnels. Ugga, Gran, and Sandy make it through the tunnels together and trick these carnivorous flowers to prevent themselves from being eaten. Thunk finds a little dinosaur creature and plays fetch with it until they can make it out. Eep and Guy flirt their way through the tunnels, but Grug keeps going in circles by himself and gets frustrated. Ugga goes back for him while the rest of the group makes it to a giant tree to camp out for the night. Thunk has kept his creature from the cave, and he's decided to call him Douglas. Ugga tries to get Grug to stop being a jerk and join them, but he's really stubborn. Guy takes the family to the top of the trees and shows them all of the stars. He says these are all the suns, and that's where he's going, into tomorrow where he'll be safe. Eep says she's going to go with him and wants everyone to come with them. Ugga says she can't go without Grug, but Gran says to leave him. He doesn't have any ideas. Grug overhears this and spends the night trying to come up with ideas to outdo all of the ideas that Guy has. He fails spectacularly at every one of them. As they continue their journey, Grug admits to Ugga that he was trying to one-up Guy so that Eep would listen to him. They've ended up making it most of the way to the mountain when another earthquake happens, and Grug tries to get them all into a cave, but they all refuse. They want to ride the sun into tomorrow with Guy. Grug says he's trying to keep them alive, but Eep says that's not living, that's just not dying. His rules don't work out here, and they need to follow Guy now. Grug goes after Guy, and they end up trapped in a tar pit. Guy tells Grug this is how his family died. He was really young when it happened. They bond and devise a plan to get a creature to pull them out. Turns out it's the big cat creature that's been following them throughout the movie. Once free, Grug cedes to Guy, and they finish their journey to the mountains. Right as they've made it, another earthquake hits and cuts off their path to get to the sun. Guy doesn't know what to do, but Grug does. He can throw them over the gap. He throws them all over as the edges of the gap keep crumbling. Once his family is clear, Grug goes and finds a cave. The big cat creature has found him, and instead of eating Grug, he gets scared and cuddles up to him instead. In the night, Grug hears one of the seashells. Thinking that his family is in trouble, he comes up with an idea to go get them. He covers a giant rib cage with tar from the tar pit, and then gets a swarm of the piranha birds to chase him, and they get stuck to the rib cage that's now covered in tar. He uses a torch to guide the birds as they fly. The big cat is also in the airship that he's made.
And Douglas.
And, as he's flying, they're going through a gap and another explosion happens. They're trying to get through it before it reaches. And Grug is picking up every single animal along the way, including Douglas and some ferret-looking creature and then some other set of creatures that have like a conjoined tail. They're all very cute. They're trying to get everything out, like get through this little gap in the mountain. But as they're getting to the end of it, one of the bones in the ridge cage gets stuck on a rock. Grug is trying really hard to push and get it dislodged, but there's an explosion from the back that catches up to them just as Grug gets it free. So we don't really know what's going on, but we go back to see where Eep is across the gap. She's been blowing her shell to her father. They aren't in danger, but she didn't get to tell him that she loved him back before he threw her across. Guy tells Ugga that they need to keep moving, and Gran says she'll tell Eep. But then Gran blows her shell too, and then everyone blows their shells behind Eep. Next, we hear a voice come over the air saying, "Get out of the way." It's Grug, and he's coming in hot. He crash lands and immediately asks where the danger is. Eep launches herself at Grug and says she loves him too. Grug counts everyone to make sure that they're all alive, including Guy and the new animals. They've made it to an ocean. Eep's voiceover tells us everyone is going to make it because they've changed the rules. They've all found different mounts in prehistoric creatures, and Eep says that they'll stay out here, where they can follow the light, as they all ride their beasts along the coastline. The end. Elizabeth?
Yes, Megan.
What did you think of this movie?
I liked this movie a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was adorable. I thought the voice acting was phenomenal. I liked the non-traditional animation.
Yeah.
I want a little sloth buddy.
Oh my god, I need a belt too.
It was amazing.
It was.
I love Cloris Leachman in anything.
Absolutely.
Catherine Keener was fantastic. Nick Cage did a really good job. Fun fact I read, trivia-wise, they went into this project, like, with the rough sketches of the characters. They wanted Nicolas Cage. He was the only one they wanted to play Grug.
Nice.
When Guy takes them all up in the tree and he blows out the fire to show them all of the starlight, I cried. And then when Grug is throwing them across the gap, I cried.
Yeah.
Stupid game making me cry. Stupid movie.
I was okay up until he decided to throw them. But like from that moment pretty much till the end, I was nothing but a puddle of tears.
When Thunk is the one who figures it out and he goes, "You're not coming, are you?" And I was just like, "No!"
Yeah.
Grug has to go.
Listen, like you're absolutely right, because the voice acting was so good, because I love every single time that Grug is counting his family. So like he does counts constantly. So, and there's 6 of them total. So he's always counting himself, and then everyone that's around is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Gran is always the last one, his wife's mother, and she makes a noise and he goes, 6. Like, it's so fucking funny.
And then at the end where he's like, he pulls Guy in and he's like 7, and then Douglas comes up and barks, he's like 8 and 9, he counts all the little animals.
Yeah.
Oh, this
so
movie
cute.
was so cute. Much better than I thought going into it. Like, I thought going into it, this is not my jam.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be very good.
And it's definitely, like, not my jam. I don't like animation, like, really in general. I'm not a huge fan. I'm really not a fan of kids' movies. I just can't get into them. But this one was actually really, really cute.
It was.
And I agree with you on all of your points about, the distinct animation style. It's kind of a non-traditional sort of story.
Yep.
I like the landscape that they built. Like, half of me feels like this movie was made just so that they could create the scenery in the movie.
There's a great scene where they've got Guy in a log, and the 6 of them are walking across the background, and there are all these things happening in the foreground, like little birds flying by, and like the tiger stalking them, and the animation was really, really well done.
It was really, really well done. I agree. I still can't get over, like, the backdrop of like the scene where they get to the sharp rocks. Like, they're not really like rocks. Like, what they look like is coral.
Yeah.
It looks like sharp coral. So, like, it looks like they're walking across an old seabed. And it's just, it's so imaginative.
The flying turtles.
Yeah. The flying turtle birds.
The cat that stalks them the whole thing is colored like a parrot.
Yeah. And it's sort of like a saber tooth, but also, like, its head is all, like, big and bobbly looking. It's so adorable.
There's a weird line where, like, there are aspects of these animals that are clearly based on real animals that we have in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just go and fuck it up so that it's some magical fucking creature instead. Yeah. Like a flying turtle with wings, or
piranhas that are
piranhas that are birds, or a parrot-colored tiger with tusks. Yeah. No, I thought this movie was really cute.
It is really cute. I thought the caginess of this movie was also very good. Even though we can't see him and there's no body language.
So good. He was so good.
Yeah, his inflection is really there. He's a very good voice actor.
Yeah.
And we really haven't seen a whole lot of stuff with him, just being a voice actor, but he should do this more often. He really, really should.
So what are we going to rate the movie?
I would rate the movie an A. I think it's a good movie.
I would rate it an A as well. What do we give the caginess of it?
He's definitely an A.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that he did in this movie with his voice that is just actually everyone in this movie, every voice actor in this movie was very good.
I will say Ryan Reynolds does not sound like Ryan Reynolds because I had to go look up who voiced Guy.
Oh yeah. I knew it was Ryan Reynolds before we watched it, but it's such a difference because you're used to seeing him, 6 foot whatever, jackass Deadpool, but like he plays a young boy in this movie, and like he doesn't really sound. It's not like a man's voice. Like he does a good voice.
Yeah, and Catherine Keener, I thought was phenomenal.
I love her, and Emma Stone. I love Emma Stone in general, but the movie's also just like so well written in different ways. Like I love the little lines that they have. Like there's one line where she jumps Eep jumps on Guy and he's like, "Oh my god, you're so heavy." And she goes, "Really? Thank you." Like,
yes.
When they get to the trees, right before they go up and like see everything, when Uga's trying to go back and get Grug out of the tunnel system, and Belt, who is a sloth-like creature who is Guy's pet, he's there for conversation and to hold up his pants. That's what he is there for. But Belt and Sandy, the little baby, are basically like running a bar. And Cloris Leachman Grant is like hanging in like a leaf hammock with like drinking some kind of drink that Belt just made for her. And she's talking about like her life and like how it used to be when she was a teenager and the first love of her life, and they'd feed each other berries and nuts. And then her father beat him over the head with a rock and gave her to her Eve's grandfather. Like, it's just, it's so good. And it's so funny. It's genuinely a funny movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So yeah, this is definitely an A effort from both DreamWorks and Nicolas Cage.
I agree.
I think that's actually going to be it this week. It's sort of a short episode. We were trying to draw it out a little bit, but this is just a really cute movie. We definitely, I think both of us would recommend it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you have the means and the drive to do it, watch this movie. It's definitely worth it. You can also find us on socials. We are on Instagram at Not the Beast Pod. We do also have a page over on patreon.com/notthebees, where you can get access to early episodes. You can also get access to our Discord, and if you want to throw us a couple of bones, we would certainly appreciate it. And of course, as ever, if you like what we're doing, we would love it if you would interact with this episode on any platform that you listen to. But that's all I've got for this week. So I've been Megs.
I've been Elizabeth.
And we'll see you next time, kids.